Good morning, everyone. My name is Miriam, and I'm a 16-year-old survivor from Pakistan. At the age of 14, I was sitting alone in my room completing my homework when my mother came to me and informed me that I would be taking a husband who was 8 years older, and he's my first cousin. I looked at her and said okay, and continued doing my homework. I did not really understand how my life was about to change. A week later, I was married and left in Pakistan to live with my family and my husband sent for me in the United States. Once I arrived, I found that the promises of a better life were all lies. My mother-in-law became abusive and my husband did nothing to protect me. She used to beat me and I tried to explain to my husband about all that, but he wouldn't listen to me. Once I was crying because of his mother, he grabbed the curtain and wrapped it around my neck and started choking me with it. I got really scared. I got physically and emotionally ill whenever I used to hit by my husband and my mother-in-law. Several times he just watched her slap me and didn't do anything to stop her. They did not let me to talk with my parents. They did not let me to go to school. I fled back to Pakistan and my mother-in-law followed me there and continued to torture me. Once again, I came back to the United States because I feared for my safety. I returned only to find that my husband had taken another wife and was threatening to deport me. This betrayal saddens me as well as left me alone and confusing. Having no place to go, I was giving information about a shelter. While at the shelter, I had the privilege to meet Judd from the Parrish staff. He gave me an application for the transitional housing. I submitted my application and waited for a phone call. The day I received a call for the interview, I was so happy. I'm still in shock that I was fortunate enough to have a safe place. I cannot believe that I have my own first apartment that I'm proud to call my home. My heart is so full that I cannot say enough about the Parrish Center's program, staff, or the participants that now I can call my own family. If I had not received that phone call, I would have been homeless, alone, and unsafe. Now I got a chance of making my dreams a reality and heal myself here in Parrish. I cannot thank Parrish Center enough for being concerned about my well-being and helping me to fulfill the promises of a better life that my husband was not able to provide. After all of my story and current situation, I ask you please, if you can help all of us who are residents of Parrish, shall be really very thankful to you for this act of kindness. Thank you so much.
First like to say thank you for having us here this morning and for listening to what we have to say. I want to share a part of my life with you. Before I met my abuser, I considered myself to be a dependable, professional, and positive person. He also is a well-known professional businessman and very active in the community, which goes to show you domestic violence doesn't have a name, a face, or even care where you come from. I wasn't familiar or knowledgeable about the cycle of violence or alcoholism. I accepted this abuse for 6 years out of 13. After telling myself that this is not right, and through faith, I decided no more. I was riding around on the interstate with nowhere to go and no one to turn to when I heard a still voice say, "I'll be with you till the end." At that time, I knew that I had received my confirmation and that I would not have to look back. I was given information about the 211 hotline. They provided me information for the shelter, and I entered my first shelter for a 90-day period. Felt as if the situation left me all alone. I turned to the one person that I thought I could count on, which was my brother, but he sided with my abuser. I fled from his house after my abuser showed up and forced me to re-enter into another shelter for 2 weeks. I had been in 3 programs and received little or no help, which left me feeling I had no soul and robbed of all self-dignity. After entering the program, I was glad to be blessed with a safe place, but I received little or no healing. The Mary Parrish Center took over the program in March of this year. From the first day they arrived, I found my smile. They gave me hope, goals, and a reassurance that I am a person. The Mary Parrish has even helped me understand my choices in life, whether it's resolving past decisions and making future choices. I feel that I have overcome a lot of my distress, and now I'm looking forward to a new start with contentment. I like to just add one brief thing. I'm one of the fifth, the last of the fifth, that was at the old center. And I can't explain how nervous I was to know I didn't even have a place to stay when anyone to turn to until Mary Parrish came. And it was just a trying time with that question mark. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for stepping in and rescuing us. Thank you.
I'm a survivor of physical, mental, and sexual abuse. It all started at the age of 4 when I was sexually abused by a roommate that my mom had at her house. Then it happened again at 11 by my uncle. My mother was an alcoholic. She was always in domestic fights with her many different boyfriends that I had to grow up seeing over and over again. She would physically and mentally abuse me all of the time when she was drunk. I remember her beating me at the age of 11 until my nose bled. She ended up getting arrested for child abuse and going to prison. I was on my own after that, to hitchhike from place to place on my own with only God by my side. She would always degrade me and tell me that I would never be anything and that I would always be a mess up. I found that since that was always what she expected me to be, it's what I ended up living up to. I was a misunderstood teenager who found love from older guys and drugs. I was in and out of group homes and state's custody. When I was 13 years old, I thought I was in love with a man 13 years older than me. He ended up being in an abusive relationship for 8 years. When I left that relationship, I fell into another abusive relationship that lasted 10 years and resulted in the only good thing coming out of it was 2 beautiful little girls that I had no idea on how to raise. I had no parenting skills and nothing but dysfunction in my life. I knew that the abuse was no good for my children and that if I didn't get away from it fast, that I was only giving them the same childhood that I had. I contacted the Mary Parrish Center, and that's when my life and my children's life was able to start changing. This place has saved my life from not only my abuser, but from myself. Before coming here, I had no idea that I could live on my own independence. I had no idea how to raise my children or how to hold a job. I now am in weekly therapy, and I'm learning a lot of parenting skills, and me and my children are happier. I have a good job waiting for me that I'm looking forward to, and even more importantly, I have a new family at the Mary Parrish Center, the only healthy relationship that I have ever had. I know now that I can live on my own without having to endure abuse to keep a roof over my head. I'm so happy about all the changes in my life and that have already happened and all the ones to come. I do a lot of work at the Mary Parrish Center. Getting apartments ready for the next lucky lady, it's not something that I'm made to do, but it's something that I love to do. Sometimes it's hard work like moving heavy furniture or doing heavy cleaning, but at the end, when you can see the reaction on a woman's face of joy, it's well worth it. I want to thank you all for showing up today and for showing your support for a program that truly saves lives. Thank you.